how to manipulate your body fat in order to force the seat to close and show green. Thrilling experiences. It's not just your body on a ride. It is like a sport. I recently went to Universal Studios Orlando, and obviously the first thing I noticed at Universal Studios Orlando is the thrill rides. There are thrill rides all over the place, and the thrill rides definitely stand out compared to, thrill rides that are available at Disney World. Something I have seen bloggers complaining about a little too often, and it's a little bewildering to me. There are, when I think of it, specifically two bloggers that will make a lot of criticism and complain very heavily about the concept of that they do not fit on some of the thrill rides at Universal Studios. And I'm not talking about specifically, I'm excluding in this where I'm talking about people who are either shaped in a certain way, or maybe they're too tall, or certain built structures. I'm specifically talking about in this video, here's the controversial part. Stop complaining about not being able to fit on certain rides at Universal Studios Orlando in specifically related to weight. It is bizarre to me that I have watched specifically two vloggers who have shown how to manipulate your body fat in order to force the seat to close and show green. Number one, I have watched them show how to manipulate the seat, how to literally lift their gut or position, or to suck in all the air or something like that in order to force the bar to close on the ride. Number one, if they were able to secure the bar and get it to close, I could only imagine once you get it to close and then you exhale, to the pressure that you must be feeling after you allow your body to relax now that you have forced the bar down. Two, if you were able to somehow do that and manipulate the bar so that you've sucked it in and now the mechanism is showing the green light and it's locked in, I could only also imagine the discomfort that your body is going to feel on a ride that is jerking you around, or when the ride goes airborne and then you go back down and your stomach then slams into the bar. How uncomfortable that must be. The fact that some people are manipulating it in that way, and that these vloggers are telling other people to do that, is extremely bizarre, unsettling, and is so uncomfortable to actually tell people to do that. The bigger issue, and again, I'm referring to weight, I'm not talking about like the possibility that you're 7 feet tall and you don't fit on a ride or something like that. I'm talking about specifically weight. These rides are thrill rides. What does that mean? They are thrilling experiences. It's not just your body on a ride. It is like a sport. It is the same thing, the same exhilaration if you were going to go bungee jumping, or you were going to go skiing or rock climbing. To a certain extent, you are not just a passive person sitting on a roller coaster. That's why you will see those health warnings that will pop up, these warnings that will pop up on the outside of rides, where they will say, make sure you are healthy enough to ride. Make sure you do not have high blood pressure or this or that or a cardiac condition, so that there's no possibility of you having a heart attack on the ride or a stroke on the ride. Unfortunately, not to be the person that talks about the elephant in the room, but there are health conditions that go along with obesity, and specifically morbid obesity. And I am sure that there's an increase in high blood pressure, more prone to things like stroke, to your blood not circulating properly. I mean, I'm not a doctor, but it just cannot be good for you. I mean, in theory, are there people who are probably overweight that somehow don't have high blood pressure? I'm sure it exists, but overall, I am sure your body is not functioning properly if you are morbidly obese. And that is why when you go on those rides, there are health warnings, and it says if you have this, if you have that, do not go. You could have a heart attack, you could have a stroke. Many people will lose consciousness on rides like that because the G-force and the blood pressure, and the fact that their blood pressure is kind of like going like this so often on the ride, you will see people kind of like lose consciousness on a ride, because you have to be in shape to go on these rides. It is a thrill, it is a sport in itself. So when you have people who are saying that ways to rig the system and force yourself onto it, number one, you're probably telling a viewer to, number one, do something that's going to be very uncomfortable, probably harm them actually as the ride moves them around, and two, you probably are not putting them into the best health situation. It's probably not healthy. There's a reason that, specifically talking about weight, again, not that you are proportioned in a certain way, there's a reason that you do not fit. The ride was designed in a way that someone who is in relatively good shape can hopefully withstand the thrills of that ride experience. That is why it is designed in that way. And if you're not fitting and you need to do something to manipulate the situation, perhaps you need to think that that it's not just that I may be missing out on a ride. Maybe it's not healthy for you to go on this ride. Maybe it actually you could have a heart attack. You could have a stroke on it. Again, into that second concept, you will have a ton of vlogs that will also say it's not fair. It's not fair that Universal Studios. So you will have people that will either make their own video or write into a different blog or something, and they will talk about how upset they are that Universal Studios is not fat friendly or that they're not accommodating them. Again, I really think that these people should be thinking about their own health and be saying to themselves, is that actually the issue, or do you need to think about the idea that maybe it may not actually be healthy for you to ride this ride? If somehow, and I don't even know if it's aerodynamically possible, there's a reason that roller coasters look the way they do and the mechanisms are the way they are. If somehow it was adapted, would you actually be healthy riding this ride? Or is there any possibility that riding this ride that you could have a heart attack or you could have a stroke? Are these people thinking about the ride and how exhilarating it is? Is there ever the possibility that they're thinking to themselves, maybe it's not that Universal Studios is discriminating against you for not being able to fit on the ride? Maybe they're actually trying to help you in a sense, because if you don't fit on the ride and the ride is made at a normal shape and normal weight and it's a thrill experience, maybe you're actually being very seriously negligent to your health and you're not saying to yourself, if I go on this ride, could there be a consequence? Could I not feel well after this ride because my body and my health, I'm not up to this sport. I'm kind of tired of hearing people say how they're complaining about how they can't fit on a ride. Maybe there's other things that should be on their mind rather than the fact that they can't fit on the ride. So sorry if it's controversial, but thank you for watching. I'm always going to give you my honest opinion. I think that you guys can tell that from these videos. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you again in my next video, and bye.
I can't take no loss. I don't even know what it costs. I hit the ground, then it go off. Yeah, hit the ground, then it go off. Yeah, I can't take no loss. I don't even know what it costs. Yeah, I hit the ground, then it go